welcome to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Spurs. Today, I'm going to be doing another indie horror spotlight. I have all the way from Sweden, the writer, producer, director of a new zombie movie that's actually in final cuts right now. Sombi. I have with us Simon Amen. Simon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. And I also have producer as well as an actor in Zombie. I have Anders Wick. Anders, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
So thank you for coming on. Now, please tell us a little bit about Zombie. I've seen the trailer. It looks absolutely amazing. Please check out the trailer if you haven't seen it. So tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you liked the trailer. So Zombie is it's a drama action comedy with zombies. So it's like drama action comedy horror, which is I'll be getting to that, but you're always told as a first-time director that you should stick to like one genre and not do anything too complicated. And I was like, well, how about 4? It was just the script called for that. It had to be that. But yeah, so it's a movie about 2 siblings, of which Anders is playing one of them. So it's a brother and a sister, and they move back to their old, parents' old house in the Swedish countryside. And they have like some traumatic memories. They were living there when they were children. The parents passed away at a young age, and they haven't been back since then. So now they have sort of inherited the house from their uncle, who has like taken care of it, and he is taking care of it so that it looks the same way. So it's like they're stepping into their old lives again, but as adults. And they are in the process of moving into this house and dealing with their like emotions and their feelings towards each other and to like the house and the tragic past when a zombie apocalypse starts and they find themselves in the middle of the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. It's a movie that's set in the Swedish countryside, and we have really tried to utilize that. So we have this great location, this great house, and the surroundings there. It's gonna be filled with zombies and blood.
Awesome. And I understand that this movie is going to be filmed in 100% Swedish. And
yes,
there will be like subtitles, a lot of the Korean zombie movies have done.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people told us that if we're looking to market this internationally, that we should have the actors speak English in the movie. Pretty much everyone told us this. But the strength of the movie is that it's set in the Swedish countryside. And I felt like you said, there are a lot of horror movies coming from other countries, like zombie movies from Korea are popular. And people who are looking for original quality, indie horror movies from other countries, they're willing to read subtitles, and I think it's a strength if it's as authentic as possible. So even though we're hoping to market this one to a completely international audience, we wanted to have the actors speak Swedish, because if I was to watch a Korean zombie movie or any Korean horror movie or from any country, and they have the Korean actors speak English just to market it that way, I would feel like this is not authentic, and I would probably not like it as much. So we were it's probably people come for the horror and the gore and for the beautiful setting So the actors should speak Swedish. It's like a way to make it more authentic.
Mhm. I agree, and I'm late on the Korean horror movie. I actually did a video a couple months ago how embarrassed I am to not see. I just recently seen Train to Busan, and it just led me down a rabbit hole of different Korean horror movies. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I missed that because of
Yeah.
the title aspect. And
So have you watched All of Us Are Dead?
All of Us Are Dead. Yes, I've watched that one,
Yeah.
and I watched another one called Alive.
Yeah, I watched that too. Yeah.
And there's one in a it takes place in like an apartment complex. I can't think of the name of that one. That was good too.
Yeah, but wasn't that Alive?
Is that Alive?
Because I have watched that one and I have watched Alive. I thought those were the same. I don't know.
I've seen so many of them. Like I'm like a Korean horror fan now. I've seen so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like the Koreans are really good at everything they do. Like all like movies, they are great.
Yeah.
I went to film school actually in Japan, in Tokyo. I will say that like Japanese movies in general don't have the same quality, but there is a movie that's worth checking out if you like zombie movies, and it's I Am a Hero. So it's only got that English title, I Am a Hero, and it's a comedy, but it's also so scary. I watched it in cinemas, and it's the way that the zombies, like their eyes sort of slide to the sides like this, and
Really?
I was like, I was drinking a beer because I had to for my nerves, and I was like watching the whole movie like this in the theater, and I was like looking away because it's so disgusting, but at the same time, like it's fantastic. Like it's also like, because it's all made with so much humor, it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I don't think you can see it too much, but it's one of the things that has sort of inspired the sense of humor that we have in this movie. Like for me, it's like, okay, but this is how you make it funny, but still scary.
Exactly. Because you don't want to go to a route of Shaun of the Dead where it's all funny.
No, exactly. Also, we discovered recently that there is another Swedish zombie movie being made right now. That is sort of going that way, and I didn't know about that, but if we had done that, we would have suddenly had a competition, and their movie is like I think it's scheduled to be released this fall, so it would have been like, then we would have been as original there. Yeah, no, it's we're dead serious when we're serious, but it's still funny.
Yes. And I love the horror comedies that are actual horror and then comedy.
Yeah.
You get a mixture of both, but you don't get too much of each one because
no, exactly. It's like, yeah, just a great mix.
Now, you were talking about gore. What is the gore level in Zombie?
Do you want to answer?
It's not like the goriest thing you ever seen. I mean, it's what's the word? On a
it's
fine
on
level.
Yeah, it's a nice gore.
Yeah, a nice gore.
It's not gonna be brain dead because we don't have.
We do not have the budget for that.
No, or like the skills to create the props. So it's like we have an amazing special effects makeup artist that we actually hired from Denmark. So he came over from Denmark. He's the most experienced one in our crew, and he's made these like really cool, like disgusting wounds, but it isn't gonna be like a lot of body stuff exiting. So there's also another reason. So there's a lot of blood, but we couldn't have too much because we would ruin the house, because we were filming in a house where people live. It's like, so we're 3 producers. Stefan is the name of the third one, and we're filming at his parents' house where they lived as we were filming. So we were like, they were in the other room, like doing, well, whatever they do in the day, and we were over here like filming. Well, they apparently still find blood in different places, but we were still like really careful not to ruin the house. So we were like, okay, we can't like spill guts all over the floor because we can't.
We won't be able to clean that
up.
No.
So there's not a lot of like internal organs and stuff like that. So I guess the gore level is still mild, but I think satisfying because the wounds are nice. But most of the gore is like on the zombies.
Now, Anders, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You're wearing two hats. Actually, Simon, you're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
But Simon, you're wearing that hat as not only a producer, but you're also an actor in the movie. Has that been tough?
Not as tough as I thought it would be. I mean, the role is pretty much written for my own personality. So I'm not an actor per se. I've been doing some small roles in other movies and such, but not a major role before. But since Simon wrote this role as I am as a person, it was pretty easy to walk into it. I think the harder part was not being able to help the crew, because Simon wanted me to focus on my role and the script and such. But since it was such a small crew, there were always things happening, stuff that people needed help with carrying around, and just needed help in regular. And I immediately wanted to go help, but so it was. I think it was harder to just focus on my role and not trying to help too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because when it comes to like handling gear and handling things in general, normally he would do that because I am not careful enough. I'm like kind of clumsy, and I don't think about things. I guess it must have been stressful.
Yeah.
So we had to like find a guy to handle all the gear, like set up the camera and everything, because we knew that I can't do it, and I'm gonna have to have him do it all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I was glad we had that guy, because if we had not had him,
No.
Rasmus was his name. He did a great job, and if we had not had him, it would probably.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster.
We had a pre-shoot, and I was trying, because like I also double as like a camera operator / DP, because we couldn't afford that either. So I was trying to do that on the pre-shoot, but you ended up having to like do it, because during the pre-shoot we were shooting like flashbacks, so he didn't have to be in it. We were shooting with like child versions of him and his sister. So yeah, you ended up doing a lot of the shots just because I
So Simon, this is your first feature-length movie.
Yeah.
As a new filmmaker,
yeah,
what are some struggles that you ran into that that you could pass on to a new filmmaker, or even your next film? You're like, you know what? I would not make that same mistake again.
Oh, that is a good question. Like, first of all, I've been to film school and all of that, and I'm still a complete nobody like in the film business, because like I watched some of your other interviews, and a lot of like whoever you bring on who's a director, they're like, oh yeah, I know this guy who did that movie, or I know that person, or I worked with like this famous person in the past, and I'm like, I haven't like worked with anyone. Like maybe I've met some famous people, but like in Japan, like I met the director who made the original Ringu, but I didn't like try to like get to work on their movies or anything. I wasn't good at like networking back then, so we really have nothing. But what you should know is once you have brought one person on board, if you can bring one person that has connections, they're gonna start bringing all of their friends. So yeah, I guess like don't. Yeah, another thing, don't think you're wasting time planning, because you can never plan enough. And I mean, no matter how much you plan, you're gonna stand on set and you're not gonna have everything that you need. So filmmaking is always problem solving, but you can still not like spend enough time planning everything. Plan for what can go wrong, plan for like what will happen, have an image in your head of what you will do if you can't, like basically if we can't have this shot, what will we do? Because there are so many things. Yeah, always like be prepared to like rethink the movie on the spot. So that is something I'm thinking. Is it something else that's important that I'm like that I should get? Oh yeah, and also maybe hire enough crew, because were we 10 people, but that's including the actors. Were we 8 people in the crew?
Like 7-8 people.
Yeah, something like that. And so we have one makeup guy. He had an assistant, but she couldn't be there all the days. Or we couldn't afford her all of the days was the actual problem. So she was there for 6 out of 14 days, I think. So we had one guy who had to do all the zombies himself. And it's just like we didn't have a proper, like we didn't have a runner. You should have a runner. It feels like a thing that you don't need if you have to like cut budget, but you do need a runner, because otherwise you're gonna end up running a lot. Like I think for those 2 weeks I slept around about 4.5 hours a night, and the rest of the time I was working on the movie. Like I was writing stuff, put it down, put my head on the pillow, and then like I woke up 4 hours later and it was like, all right, time to start working. It was like, it was crazy. So like definitely hire enough people, because even if that is obviously the thing that costs the most, and it's gonna be more expensive than you think. That's another tip that you should take with you. It's gonna be a lot more expensive than you think, but like you can get a lot of the other stuff for free, because the more people you have, the more connections they'll have. So they can get you a car that you can use, a house that you can use, like a location that you can use. They can find good deals. Like we didn't feel like we had money to hire the guy who would like fix with the gear and everything. He was basically my assistant photographer, but he ended up also like being a gaffer, and he also got really good deals on like the rental equipment. He got it down to like, I don't know, 30% of the actual cost. So like the more people you have, the cheaper you can get everything else. So that's like spend money on the cast, and like they can, and also don't be afraid to make connections. Don't be afraid if you are sure that you have a good idea of like what the movie is going to be like, get a person on board who likes your idea, because they're gonna make it happen too. Like the more people you are, the more it's gonna happen. Even if you'll realize, oh, I didn't know that this is how you made a movie, but you're gonna know by the time you're there.
Yeah, it's all a learning experience. From what I hear, it's, especially the first time, you're going to make some mistakes the first time.
Yeah.
But you just have to, But that's the first time I've ever heard a filmmaker say, spend money on cast and have more cast. Like, I mean, a cast, but crew, because I mean, that is a good idea because each one of those persons has connections and networks that and doors that open that you may not have.
Yeah, I mean, because it's you often hear that you can always find actors for free, which might be true, and of course you can use your friends and family. We did that for the zombies. We have a lot of like friends doing like the zombie roles, but it's really worth it to at least for like the bigger like lead roles, just pay for that and like get experienced crew, because they will just bring with them so much else that eventually I think you will spend. I think it's maybe important to say that now that we have like SAG-AFTRA strike and the Writers Guild and all of that, like you want to pay the people, and we are still like we have a really small budget, so we don't pay, like this is not a union film at all, so we don't pay union wages either, because we don't have that that money. We have found like a small crew who, you know, sort of like want to build a portfolio and who like the project and who are able to do it like for us. So absolutely, that is a thing when you make your first movie, and absolutely have your friends on set. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that either, but like really when you need when you need, if you're not like if you haven't done a lot, if you're not experienced, find experienced people and bring them on.
I agree. I was actually having a conversation with a filmmaker. I can't think who it was or when the interview was, but I was telling him, as I watch a lot of movies, you know, anybody who I've interviewed on my show, I've watched one of your films or something if it's available for me to watch. And I can sit back and watch as a critic or whatever. I can sit back and watch the actors and tell if they care about the movie or not. I can tell if the actors or actresses are invested in your movie. I can really sit back, because you can have the best story, you could have the best idea, best director, everything. But if you got some shitty actors and actresses,
Yeah.
and like the actors and actresses are probably the most important. Some directors like free, they get the free people, and there is nothing in this world that's great that's free.
Yeah. And I think you're correct in that you can tell if someone like cared about the movie, because you can tell like really good actors can be absolutely shit in a movie that they don't care about. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if this is controversial, but like if you compare Johnny Depp in the first Pirates movie versus the last one, how much better he is in the first one, because he has so much energy in it. There's also like, is it Percy Jackson, like the first movie? I think they have Liam Neeson in one scene, and it's a terrible performance. I think it's Liam Neeson that they have as like Zeus or something.
Yeah, he plays Zeus.
Yeah, and like he's green screened in with the others, so they definitely just had him for one day and like read all your lines. We have to wrap for today, and like he's just like delivering his lines, and it's terrible. But you can also have films where like they have picked people from the street who have never even thought of acting, and they give a perfect performance, and it's because, you know, they believe in it.
I say film students. I said if I was going to do a movie right now, today or tomorrow, I would go and get film students. And I'm not talking about film students who are graduating. I'm talking about freshmen and sophomores, because they're trying to build their resume up, and I feel like they are going to give a excellent performance, because this is their first job. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not an actor, but if someone wanted to have me on as like a small role, and like especially if it was something like a zombie movie or something like that, damn, I'd give my heart in that.
All right. So next question.
Yeah.
Release date. Do we have a potential release date for Zombie?
Not a date. We are hoping to have it done by 2025.
Okay.
Which is still like kind of a long time, but we're all sort of working and full time working and studying, and so we're doing most of like the post production ourselves. So I'm doing most of the editing, and we have Stefan, the third producer, has been working on like some sound effects and music, because that's his area. And as for visual effects, it's Anders. So we're sort of like trying to do as much as we can ourselves, because we have spent a lot of money on this movie, so we're not gonna save on it and like release a shitty version of the movie. That's not gonna happen. But like we want to do like as much as possible, and we want to have some time to like maybe get more funds for the post production. So it's gonna well, it probably and hopefully it's gonna be released in 2025. And before that, we're gonna release some more like behind the scenes footage and another trailer. I've got a great idea that I haven't really pitched yet, but I've got a great idea that I hope you'll like. Yeah. So, but I think I have a lot of great ideas for like the sound effects and everything in the movie that I think nobody will quite expect. So yeah, we're gonna be working on that, and hopefully start like touring film festivals in 2025.
And I was saying you do have an active Indiegogo with some great perks as well.
Yeah, we do. So we have we have some perks where you can be like a co-producer or associate producer. We only have like maybe 2 left for associate producer, because we sold some of them like previous time. We had an Indiegogo campaign for the main shoot, and now we're gearing up for like the final shoot. This is the where we take the last shots of the movie. So you can be associate producer, co-producer. You can also like get the normal perks, like you'll have your name in the movie. Anyone who backs any amount will have like any perk will have a digital download of the movie. And you can have like the DVD, Blu-ray. I'm a big fan of DVDs and like physical media actually, so we're really gonna try to make or you're gonna make like a cool like special edition cover for anyone who buys that. So we have some of that, like a crew t-shirt, a poster. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Guys, definitely check them out. All right, so I don't know if you watch my show. This is a horror show, so I'm gonna ask both of you 3 questions.
Yeah.
All right. What is the shittiest or worst zombie movie you ever saw? Simon, I'm gonna start with you.
What is the worst zombie movie?
Oh God.
I feel like I have seen some pretty bad ones. I don't think I have a really bad one, but we were talking about Korean zombies. Like Train to Busan is actually a fantastic film, but have you noticed like how in Korean zombie movies, like or in Korean movies, the bad guy that you hate never gets punished enough? I was so mad.
By the way, too, something too. In Korean zombie movies, the men are like the most manliest fucking men ever. They will fucking. I mean, chivalry is alive in Korean zombie. It could be a woman, a complete stranger, and a man was like, you know what? You go up, I'll die. Like
That's true, actually.
in the United States, I'm telling you, I've seen scenarios. I've worked in haunted houses and so forth. And the average man will push his woman. If shit hits the fan, I'm being dead serious. Would push his woman in front and run in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And I'm talking about in a fake scenario. So if they're doing it in a fake scenario, you know they're going to do it in a real scenario. But in these movies, like the Korean men are like, I don't know you, lady, but let me help you up, and I'm gonna die to sacrifice myself for you. Like, and I'm like, that's not shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's not quite what your character's gonna be. Because his character is a coward. But yeah, you're right. That is actually a thing. They can almost be like the other way. She's like, okay, let's escape together. No, you escape.
You escape, I'll die.
I have to die. So yeah, otherwise, like, this is not a movie, but All of Us Are Dead. That one was the best and the worst zombie show that I've ever seen, because like every character is a scumbag in that. That is actually an exception to that rule, because those men were also terrible. Everyone was terrible. They were evil. Like, they were killing each other more than the zombies were. I watched the whole show because I needed to see the people die.
Even Squid Game, the TV show. See, the TV shows are different. Like, you watch the Korean TV shows. Yeah, the men are cowards. In Squid Game, there's a woman. Help!
Oh,
Get him out, way B. And like, you know, they'll kick him off. But like in the movies, Korean horror movies, the men are like Ultramen.
I mean, I haven't been to Korea, but I gotta go. I gotta know which one is true.
I know. I say all the time, I'm like, Korean men and their horror movies, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know, but like in American horror movies, they make men as big pussies. And I'm like, why is that?
Yeah. So, well, we might be guilty of that. I'm not going to say too much, but there is at least some character development and growth. Hope you look forward to that.
Now, Anders, did you have a horrible zombie movie?
Oh god, I can't think of a name. What it was called, but I remember a zombie movie I saw a little while ago with my girlfriend. It was they are zombies, but they have conscience, and they're like, it's what this one zombie that falls in love with a human girl. They are live in a separated.
Is it Warm Bodies?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They try to have the zombies should be able to coexist.
But it's like Zombie Twilight, or
yeah, pretty much. It's like Zombie Twilight. Yeah, pretty much. He falls in love with his girl, and she's scared first, but then realizes, oh, he's not so bad. He can eat me, but he's nice. And yeah, it's ridiculous. It was a ridiculous movie. I almost fell asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot say, because I might interview the director one day. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to. You can tell us after the interview. So it's our question. Movie. Oh no.
No. Next question. What do you both of you think about American horror movies? Current. Today, American horror movies. Are they overrated?
Do you want to start?
It depends. Also, there are some quality horror movies, I must say. I've been a little bit disappointed. I work at a cinema in my hometown, so I do see a lot of movies. The latest releases has been kind of I wasn't really that scared. I can't remember what was the last one I saw. We are gonna see The Nun too, though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people did not like the first one. Got bad reviews.
The first one got bad reviews. I loved it when we watched it in cinema.
Yeah.
I loved the movie, and then it came out on Netflix, and I was like, okay, let's watch this. I gotta relive this, and then I was like, why do I like this? This isn't good. The Nun 2, I've seen the trailer. It looks absolutely like pure shit, but I'm gonna watch it because like that is actually, I'm a sucker for the Conjuring universe. Like that's almost like a guilty pleasure, but I don't feel that guilty. They can come out with the shittiest movie and I'm gonna see it because like I just love that universe. All the Annabelle movies.
But don't you think that they're milking the cow like right now?
Yeah,
I also love the Conjuring movies, but it's like they're pushing out a new one every single year, and it seems like the quality is just dropping.
Yeah, it's dropping constantly. The movies aren't good anymore, and it's like usually I hate that, but for some reason with that one, I just like there's something about them that I love. I think it's, you know, nobody actually dies. It's just like stupid ghosts, and they have a sort of new spin, but it's still the exact same movie. It's the same style. You know exactly what you get, but it's kind of like if you're watching, I don't know, like generic action movies that are the same every time. So it's, for me, the Conjuring movies are sort of an exception to that, and I can just watch them. It doesn't matter because, like, in Annabelle 3, they set up all these ghosts that they can make spin-offs of, and I just hope they'll make all of them. They're gonna be terrible movies, but I hope they're gonna make all of them. Like that werewolf, there's no way they can make a good movie. It's gonna suck, but I want to see it. And like everything but that samurai suit, because that one's mine. If James Wan is watching, like, just call me after, because that one's mine. I've got a great pitch. The samurai suit is mine. I studied film in Japan, so I want that. But like otherwise, I want to see all of those. But like otherwise, in general, yeah, they're definitely milking the cow, and that is, a lot of horror movies are, like, American horror movies are. I think one issue that I have with them is, how if you look at older movies, the big cinema movies, they're shot in like 239, like widescreen, and they're really great. And then you have these horror movies that are shot in like a smaller format, and they're like more, they're cheaper movies. Now it's kind of the opposite. So these, like, the cheapest horror movies that you see made, they try to look like they have a higher production value than they actually do, for no reason. It's like if they embrace that they're a small budget movie, most of them would be much better, and they don't. And there's also this, why do I not remember the name of the director who made Us and
Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Those movies, they have, I mean, there's a lot of talk about how they have sort of brought horror into, like, more like good cinema. I think there's a lot of copycats that, try to do that, but they don't have a vision. They're like, so they're trying to make the movie look nice. It looks like it's, an expensive and good, like, art piece, and it doesn't have a story. It's just like a horror movie, and then it would have worked so much better if they didn't pretend like it was something it isn't.
Keep the gritty horror look. I mean, that's what makes it scary.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I really miss those movies. I think horror movies should have smaller budgets, but they do. They just should not pretend to have higher budgets.
Exactly. I just remember the last movie I saw at cinema. It was The Boogeyman. It was actually, it was a really good atmosphere. I was actually scared. until they showed the monster. I hate when they show the monster. I'm only scared. I'm only scared when I don't know what it is. Like, so
Exactly.
you're not supposed to see it, and they totally showed it in a bright room and everything, and this was a ugly, disgusting CGI creature.
Yeah,
And
I know.
yeah, I didn't care for it. It was good until they showed it.
Yeah, I miss practical effects. We're using mostly practical effects. There will be like maybe 2 shots with some, or 3 with some CGI effects in it, because it's something we can't do. But otherwise, we're trying to do everything practically. Like we have stunt people, you know, and a really good stunt coordinator and stuff like that. Because if it doesn't matter if it looks real, but if you can see that it is there, that's scary. If you can tell that it's CGI, it's like, you know, they're reacting to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think CGI does not belong in horror movies.
No, it needs to be like really good, and you need to hide it. So CGI
the Marvel
is not...
movies and the action movies, but don't make it a horror.
Yeah, no. Horror should be practical effects, like all practical effects, because you know instantly when it's not actually there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Final question, guys.
Yes.
What is the... This might get you guys some shit, but what is the worst indie horror movie you've seen recently?
Ooh, worst indie movie. I don't want to trash indie movies too much, because
I'm not talking about the story or anything. I'm just talking about they didn't put no... You can tell they put no effort into anything.
Oh yeah.
Grab.
Oh, that is...
I'll tell you mine. I'll tell you mine real quick.
Yeah.
It was that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
We should talk in like
grab.
weeks.
That wasn't artistic. There was nothing to it. It was just a cash grab. Piece of crap.
Yeah. We're actually gonna watch it, so I'm sure I'm gonna say the same, because I know that's a cash grab. It was way too fast. It was just like, okay, we can make this, so we're gonna do it. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Someone told me they saw it and they hated it.
Yeah, I mean, I expect to hate it. And aren't they already doing like
a budget to a second one?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
A big budget to do a second one, and I'm like, oh, screw y'all. Like,
but it's like that's gonna die out so soon, because like, of course the first one is gonna make some money, because like I wanted to watch it, everyone wanted to watch it, like I knew it was gonna be bad, but I want to watch it. But that's not gonna
the level of bad is, you can tell there was no effort put into this movie at all. It was, we got the public domain of Winnie the Pooh, we're gonna do a slasher and just leave it at that. Like, it was, you can tell, like, listen, I watch bad movies all the time, right? But at the same time, I can appreciate their artistic side. At the end of the day, I can't make a movie. I respect filmmakers. I really do. You will never, ever hear me bash a filmmaker, because I respect the hell out of you guys.
Yeah.
And I respect it because it's something that I can't do or wouldn't do. And it takes, it takes some balls to put up your money, your time, your effort to put into something that you're passionate about, and to have thick skin to, take the criticism. But at the same time, there's some movies that they're just plain shit. Yeah. And you can just tell there was no effort put into them at all. They were just get in and get out. And Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is one of them.
Yeah, I wonder if, I think 2 weeks into the pandemic in 2020, somebody announced that they were making like Corona zombies. And I feel like that's a little tasteless, you can tell they were probably already working on something, and they were like, you know what, we can grab a lot of cash if we use the pandemic for this. And it's like I don't like I haven't watched the movie because I didn't want to, so I can't say if the movie's bad or good, but I'm like, yeah, that's
There's no way it can be good though, right?
yeah. Yeah, like no, because otherwise, like you can watch like technically the shittiest movie, but you can tell somebody had a vision and they wanted to make it. Like even like fucking The Room, you can tell that one person. I think when I watched it the first time, I was expecting something bad, and you can tell that exactly one person cared about this movie. Nobody else did. None of the other actors. Nobody. But one person did actually care about this. And like Tommy Wiseau was apparently really terrible to everyone on set. So it's like I don't want to hype him up or anything, but you can still tell that even if he had no fucking clue of what he was doing, he had, you know, he wanted to do it. He had like a dream. So you can still tell that there's something there. And I think you can feel it when you watched it, because I was surprised by that. I was expecting to see like I was expecting it to be unwatchable, but I think it is watchable because there is something that somebody wanted to say. He doesn't know what, but he wanted to.
Because movies is all about getting, I feel like as a filmmaker, it's about getting your whatever your message is out there.
Yeah.
And when you watch a movie and you can see that the filmmaker doesn't even have a fucking message, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and that's like you can tell that with big budget movies that it's like some producer has decided that this will make a ton of money, and they pay a writer to write a script, and they get a lot of money, so they do it. And then they hire a director who gets a lot of money, so they do it. And then they hire some talent who gets like a really good deal for it. And they have some crew who's like, well, this is just standard, shoot it the way you usually would. And they do it. And you can tell that not a single person cared about the movie. Not a single person wanted it to succeed. Everyone just came there because they got a big enough check, and they were handed a big enough check because they knew that this will make enough money back. Yep. That sort of soulless, I mean, you have these small indie movies doing that, and you have the really big budget ones, and it's just terrible. Because like that's the thing that has like made our movie. It's like kind of funny to talk about it, because whoever we tell what kind of movie it is, as soon as you say like, yeah, it's a zombie movie, it's like, oh, okay, because you get the image of like some people who just go out and like, well, we want to shoot some gore and like be done with it. But we have like a story that we've really cared about for like we've been talking about this for 10 years, and originally it was just gonna be some like fun zombie action and done. Mm-hmm. But it has grown, so now it's like every shot is like, oh, this is the way I imagined, you know. There's so much like emotion attached to it, and so it's hard to explain. Yeah, we're making a zombie movie and we're like super attached to it, but like you probably understand because you've talked to like a lot of horror filmmakers, and like I think any horror lover, like true horror lover, will feel that. But it's the same. I just watched like Brain Dead and Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles by Peter Jackson, and like I get why you would say that those are cheap movies, but you can tell that they care about it. Like, yes. And Peter Jackson loves it. Like, it's art. So
I agree.
Yeah.
So if you had an unlimited budget right now, what's one thing you would add into your movie?
Oh, can I spoil this?
What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the?
I'm thinking about the baby.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know if I can spoil that just yet. like it's a shot. Damn, I was thinking about this one earlier, and I was like, it would have been so great. I can't spoil that, but I'll get back to you about that in
Off
the
camera.
future. I can say it off camera, yeah. And if we do another interview in the future, like maybe when the movies is released, I'll tell you what I wanted to add. So remember that, because oh, it's such a great scene, and I'm so sad that I couldn't make it. But yeah, I definitely have one. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard.
Did you have one?
If we had unlimited, I don't know. I would just be happy if we had a bigger crew.
Yeah. But there were a few other things that we were gonna have a guy fall down the stairs, and it's a really steep, super dangerous stair, and it's gonna, like, it's a huge risk, and it's gonna be really expensive. So we decided against that. I wish we could have had that. And I think I would have added like more blood. Because one thing that we don't have in the movie is like a blood fountain.
Yeah.
And I want that, you know, a zombie biting here, and it's just like gushing.
Boom.
Yeah, so that's something. So like a little bit of those things, and maybe a little more damage to the house, because we can't damage the house since it's a really, really old, like 1800s house. Not all of it is built then, but like the oldest parts of the house are built in the 1800s. So we couldn't. Well, we did break a window or two. But maybe we could just build, like, if we had unlimited money, we could build replicas.
Yeah,
and
build
we could actually
a large model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could like really damage the house and like you know, break more windows, like fucking burn it down. I wanted to do that, you know. I would have done that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have done that. So those are the things. And then this really cool special effects shot that we're gonna talk about in the future.
All right, Simon Anders, how can everybody find you?
So we have a webpage, which is sombi.se, which is, it's a Swedish domain because it was a lot cheaper than .com. You can find us on Facebook. We have a page.
And you have to spell sombi.se with SOMBI.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the YouTube title, I assume. So yeah, you need to spell it right, but yeah, so Sombi, and we have a Facebook page which is just called Sombi. We have Instagram, which is Acklam Productions, and we have a YouTube channel where we will be posting you know, updates. All of the videos we're sort of uploading, which is also Acklam Productions. That's sort of our old name for our YouTube videos that we're sort of carrying over. And for now, you can find us on Indiegogo until October 14th. So the campaign will be running until October 14th. Now it might be Swedish time, so if you want to be sure, maybe check in by October 13th so you don't miss it. It's a Friday, so it's Friday the 13th. So you can remember it by that. Until Friday the 13th, you have and we also actually have an active GoFundMe page that we're gonna promote more after the shoot, because that one is sort of meant to be funds for post-production. We don't have Twitter either right now, because like I don't want to buy the blue check, and I was, you know, it used to be a great way to to get out there, but I don't know if it is anymore. I feel like it's ruined. And
It's
I
Instagram.
actually at one point I gave up and I was like, actually I should try and just create a page, and it wouldn't let me. I don't know why. It said my phone number wasn't correct, or like they couldn't verify it, but I was like, it's the correct phone number. Like I don't know what I did wrong. So I was like, well, maybe it's a sign. Maybe we don't need it. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, please support them. Check out their trailer as well. It's amazing. Yes, listen, I'm gonna have you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna have you guys back on closer to the release of the movie. So
yes,
Yep,
please do.
absolutely.
This was a lot of fun.
it's a blast. Thank you for once again for coming on. I appreciate it. Everyone, well, thank you for coming to the horror room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.